Well, hey there, Heartland Church. It's Pastor Jeff back this week with a short video update. First, thank you for all the prayers as I was battling influenza A last week. Very grateful for you praying for me, as I know we've been praying for each other in the body. There's a lot of illness going around, and so it really is a good reminder when God brings the physical reality of what we're experiencing in line with the spiritual reality of just how weak we are and how dependent we are upon Him. It's beautiful when God actually brings those things more into alignment, because it reminds us that we need to be prayerful as we seek greater dependence upon the Lord, and we need to be prayerful for each other as people are struggling in different areas. The reality is when we're struggling physically with an illness, you know that you're needy before the Lord, but how many people are struggling right now in their marriages? How many people are struggling in parenting? How many people are struggling in remembering the gospel? And those things are more important than what we're experiencing physically in a lot of ways. And so I just want to encourage you, continue to pray for those in the body, continue to look for opportunities to serve one another as we look to bear each other's burdens, and in that, display the glory of God to the world around us. So thanks for your prayers. It's been a blessing as God's walked me through this illness. But I want to talk just a little bit. I don't really have anything by way of announcement, because we're kind of in a little bit of a lull before the spring busyness ramps up in the church. But I do want to talk about what happened this last weekend at Heartland Church and what's coming up next weekend. If you were here, you know we just broached Romans chapter 14, thinking about an incredibly important topic within the church, and that's how we can avoid self-righteous judgment of one another, where we take things on which the Bible is gray and the Spirit leads us each individually into righteousness. We'll take those things and have a tendency to try to make those things black and white and put those things on other people. And Paul warns us against that. He says, look, some people observe one day, some people observe a different day, some people eat meat, some people only eat vegetables. We shouldn't put that on one another in self-righteous judgment, but instead we should trust that the Lord is leading each one of us individually, and that He's faithful to do that, and then show charity to one another as we disagree on things that are tertiary and beyond issues. So we talked a little bit about that, how to avoid that judgment, but how to not let the pendulum swing so far that we don't think about good judgment in each other's lives, where we're actually helping hold each other accountable, walking with each other in a way that's watchful, that's mindful, that seeks to bring things to somebody where correction or admonishment is necessary. The reality is, when you read the New Testament, that's how we're called to operate with one another. We're a means of grace for each other. And so really there's a sort of a balance that exists in the gospel, where we're not self-righteously judging other people, nor are we going over here and just minding our own business, but we're really walking in love and humility as we follow the Spirit's conviction and offer accountability in each other's lives. That's a gift. So that's what we talked about. We're going to talk about that more this weekend as we dig into some of the heavy language that Paul uses in Romans 14, talking about the coming judgment of the Lord and the accountability that everyone will give as they stand before the Lord in judgment. The reality is that God is our judge, and we need to trust that in the lives of each other and worry about how God's leading each one of us. And so we'll talk a little bit about the theological weight or heaviness that Paul brings to bear in the conversation this weekend. And I believe it'll be a great encouragement as it enhances our ability to walk together and be a means of grace. So, and love you guys. So thankful for what God's doing in our midst to create increased unity, increased family and oneness here within Heartland Church. There's so many examples of how God's doing that as He uses all of us in each other's lives as a blessing. And so thank you guys that you are that to me and that I can be that to you. And I'm just encouraged at what God's doing. So I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. We hope to see you on Sunday as we dig further into Romans chapter 14. Thanks so much.